Please let me know if you can see, with just battling with the can someone tell me if you are able to see us? I'm battling with our video here. We have a problem. It was working all along. All of a sudden, it's not working. Okay, Matodzi, Matt, are you there?
Yeah.
Yes. Oh man, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you loud and clear. Can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
Excellent.
I can hear you well. I can hear you well. I'm just battling with this thing here. I will just oh man, this never happened. So I'm trying to get a colleague of mine who is into IT, and then I will. Yeah. So, but at least the people can see you, even though they cannot see me, and I'm sure they can hear you.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna try and
That's
get
right.
hold of this guy.
That's all right.
Just give me a few minutes, and then I will. I'm sorry about this, man.
No, don't worry about it. Yeah.
And those who are watching, just for those who are just have just joined us, I just want to apologize. We are struggling with the video here, and I don't know what happened, because it's been working well up until when I rejoined now. So, and I'm trying to get some help. And so please bear with us, but we will start very, very soon. I'd like to welcome everyone who has managed to join us. I just want to see if on Facebook it's showing. And if there's anyone out there who can help, feel free to come and join and come and help. You know, my guest is here. Pumezo Khalo, I can see you. Bele, Lindelani Kunene, Lulama Bele, I can see you. Gekwa, I can see you. People have joined us on Facebook, and I do want to just apologize for this, because looking forward to this conversation so much, but it seems like this whole thing is undermining what we're trying to do here. I'm just going to try one more time, and then if not, we'll try and move until I get some help. And then, unfortunately, you won't be able to see me, but fortunately, you can be able to see our guest, who has more important things to say than I do. And so what I'm going to do now, I'm going to try and see if I cannot use another device here, so that we can get the whole thing running again. Otherwise, if you don't see me, please bear with us as long as you can see our guest. I'm just trying to use another device, and I'm just hoping that it will work. Yeah, man, I've tried my level best. This thing is not working. I think Matodzi, let's get on with it, my brother. I'm sorry about it. We're gonna try
Okay.
again and see if it's gonna come up again. All right,
Fine. I'm ready to go. Thanks.
you ready to go? Uh, just trying one more time. Just trying one more time with Chrome. This is so embarrassing. Lindelani, I can see your message. You're saying check if your camera is open or closed. It is open, my brother. It is open. It's open. I've tried to mute. Let me see here. I can see I can't see myself. I can see my brother here, and I really don't know. It says camera and microphone allowed. Continue allowing, and I say yes, but it still does not allow us to do it, and I'm really battling to understand what could be the problem here. Um, yeah, I'm sure we will be able to do something about it. I think you can be able to see Matodzi or Matt, but on my side, unfortunately, you can't see me until the situation or the devices get working. We're trying here to get this thing. My wife is here trying her best as well. We're going to try and see if we cannot get an IT person to give me a call. And then if there's an IT person who's listening, you can give me a call because we're using StreamYard. We're using StreamYard, and we normally just get on with it. It never gives us this trouble. But today it seems like it's giving us trouble. We've tried to download Chrome again, which normally allows us to work with this, but for some reason, I have no idea what it could be. But Matodzi is here. I think that's the most important part. And I really want to beg for your indulgence here, all of you who are watching this program. And I do want to say that we normally do a testing beforehand. That is me. I normally do the testing beforehand, and I did it again this morning. And I left and I came back. It was working, and it was no longer working when I came back. And so please bear apologies for that. Matot, how are you doing, my brother?
I'm well. I'm doing very well. I'm excited to be and really honored to be a guest on your show, Mr. Kulati. It's truly an honor for me to have this conversation with you.
Man, I'm so sorry that I can't see you. I know we're trying to get Will, a good friend of mine who's in IT, who normally helps with this thing. We're going to try and get him. And then I'm sure by the end of the show, we would have actually been able to see each other. So, and I wanted to show you my Adventist marathon, that Adventist club t-shirt. Unfortunately, I can't even show you to you now. Because in my days, I used to be a marathon runner, but you are you are an ultra marathon runner, and we're gonna hear the difference today. about what
Yes,
that is all about. Can you hear me well?
yes, sir. Yeah,
All
I'm
right.
excited about this. Yeah, I'm bubbling over with excitement to
Yes,
share
man.
with our online community. Thank you.
Thank you, my brother. I'm happy that you are able to. I'm sure it's your coaching. You are able to calm my nerves down and get this working. All right. It's been a while, colleagues, that we have not been able to see each other on this program, and I thought it was the best way to start after a couple of weeks with me being away, traveling, launching the book, and all of that. But now I thought it was a best way to actually have a discussion on the Comrades Marathon. Today, it is my singular honor to host a man who last Sunday, am I right, Matodzi? It was last Sunday, am I right?
That's right. 7 days ago, yeah.
Yes, and I'm so I'm so surprised to see that you are strong and ready for this after running 90 kilometers. And I'm talking here about Matodzi Phosha, Matt, and is not just a an ultra marathon runner. He's a businessman. He's an MD of Maisha People and a relationship coach. I met him for the first time when he was doing theology in Cape Town and at college. And now he is doing much more than that. And we're going to hear a bit today. Man, please just share with us about yourself so that people that are listening can understand who is this Matt.
Thank you very much for that glowing introduction. Very beautiful. Thank you very much. You are a gracious and a kind host.
Thank you, sir.
Uh, I'm a 42-year-old South African man.
Mm,
But to be more specific, as you said, I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a relationship coach, and I'm also an ultra marathon runner. Very
yes.
passionate about different aspects of these areas of business and activities that I'm involved in. Yeah, but yeah, I was born in Venda, in a small village called Manamani in the magisterial district of Chief Mpapuri. It's a small village just outside of Toyando in Venda, if you've traveled that far. Yeah, so I went to school there. I went to high school there, and yeah, then came to Johannesburg, and I've been on the road ever since. I came to Joburg in 1998, and have moved around the country and around the world quite a bit since then.
Okay. Okay. All right. 42-year-old man who has moved around. I can see myself. Let me just
Try and
try.
put.
Can you
Can you
see
see
me?
me?
It's promising. There we go. I see you now.
Hello, can you see me now?
Yes, I have a visual. Yes.
You have the visual, and you can also have a voice as well.
Yes, there's a voice. There's some movement in the visual as well.
Okay, I'm trying to set myself down so that at least you can see me and you just not talk to me without seeing me. There's a,
Excellent.
can you hear an echo on your side?
A little bit, but that would be the initial buffering. It means the quality is getting there.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Oh
So
man.
we're building up the quality of both the sound and the. This has been the theme of lockdown. Hey, people go into meetings and for half an hour they're talking back and forth about, can you hear me? Can you see me?
What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna try and mute you on this other device here.
Okay.
Uh, I'm gonna try and mute on this other device over here. Let's do this.
Can you hear me now?
Excellent. Crystal clear.
Okay. Sure. What a day. What a day.
Yeah.
All right. All right. And I'm trying so that we can also fit each other. Yeah, I think there's a, we can't keep the other one off, unfortunately. Let's try it, man. Let's try and see how we can go. I'm gonna just reduce the volume. Oh, what a day. Okay, so you was telling us about your whereabouts. You're coming from the Venda area, and you're now living in Johannesburg since 1998. Am I right?
That's right. I've been back and forth to Johannesburg, but yeah, Johannesburg has pretty much been my home for the adult part of my life.
Okay, that's good. And so now, tell us about your academic background. You studied. I saw you in Cape Town for the first time.
That's right. So I was when I was in Joburg, I was in public relations. I am a trained public relations practitioner. I studied for 3 years and worked for 2. And at the end of my second year as a public relations practitioner, I chose a different stream. I enrolled for a BTH theology degree with Heidelberg College. And yeah, that is where the story of my pursuit of pastoral ministry began. I studied at Heidelberg for 4 years. I did my internships in some of the churches in the city of Cape Town, Walanga, where I met you, and later on I would make my first stop at Kwalanga, and Dala Toto would pick us and drop us off at different points, Bontievel and others. And yeah, in the afternoons we would head back to college. I graduated in 2006, and then came to start working for the church in the Trans Orange Conference, the TOC, in February 2007. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So are you still in the field, just for interest's sake, as a pastor?
No, at the end of my work as a full-time pastor came in February, end of February 2019. I had made a commitment to myself when I started the ministry that I would stay as a full-time minister for 12 years. And that 12-year term came in February 2019. I handed in my resignation to the conference, and I've been, available with, of course, with the resignation means you retain all your ministerial or pastoral credentials, your ordination, and all of those things. So I have, from time to time, accepted invitations to, perform certain pastoral duties, and much more about how that goes. Yeah, but I'm not in full-time ministry anymore. I'm a full-time businessman, relationship coach, and a semi-professional athlete.
Okay, all right, that's good, man. And it sounds like you have more intentionality. This is the Adventist Club Athletics Club shirt I wanted to show you. This is the one that I had when I used to be running marathons, and I'm now more excited and more interested to go back, especially after this last one that we had, and now with you here, where we're going to be talking about the science. It's a fancy word just to say we're going to be talking about running Comrades marathon. All right. Now, there's something about you that comes across to me as a man who's intentional, who have this intentionality. You say you wanted to work for 12 years and you did that, and then you're now starting with your relationship coach. Tell me about that decision. How did you make that transition? And a bit more about your coaching, your relationship coaching.
Excellent. Thank you. Very good question. Intentionality and being deliberate about how I go about pursuing my goals, I think, is is a side of me that is best expressed in my running. So I told myself that on the year that I turn 30, I will run my first Comrades marathon, and that meant most of 2009, the year before that, I would start training. And when I started running Comrades, I told myself I will run 10 Comrades marathons and then retire from running this crazy long distance, the 90 kilometers of Comrades. And last week I achieved that. So I got my 10 out of 10. I've been very fortunate and blessed to have the good health that I have 10 years later, and to, you know, the number that I was awarded when I registered by pure chance was number 58,000. I thought it was a number that's easy to remember, and I instantly grew fond and in love with the number. So I was even more motivated to run 10 and secure the number and make sure that nobody ever gets assigned that number again. It becomes mine forever in the record of Comrades. Wow. So there was one number runner, Comrades runner number 58,000, and that's me.
Wow, wow, wow. I think you deserve a hand clap, man, because your intentionality, your planning, it really is coming through. And I think many people in all professions, including the pastorate, can learn one or two things from you. Now, let's hear about your relationship coaching. Okay, before we're going to come back to the issue, we're going to come back to the issue of Comrades, how you started. Because I read that I think you were motivated by Pastor Papu. We're going to come back to that. But just tell us about your relationship coaching. What do you do? How can people access it? You know, what services do you provide? Is it the same thing as Maisha people, or is it something else?
That's right. Okay. For my memory's sake, let me start with the question you asked last. Is Maisha the same thing as Matodzi Phosha relationship coach? No, those are two different entities, two different sides to the business that I do. My decision to go into relationship coaching had built up when I, as a full-time pastor, giving pastoral counseling to individuals. When I saw the end of my tenure as a pastor approaching, I picked coaching, relationship coaching in particular, as the one area in which I would like to develop further. So to that end, I studied, I did a course in relationship coaching to back up more than 12 years of counseling as a pastor. Focused on that, and I opened up and grew interest in the online community. I didn't know in 2019, when I opened the business, that we'd be hit by COVID and would have to shift most of the a year later would have to focus a lot of the coaching to be on an online platform. But what I do in my coaching is I focus on 3 or 4 different aspects of people in relationships. There are people who are contemplating entering or beginning a relationship, who may, for one reason or another, it may be issues of personality, it may be issues of fear, and there are people have reason to be cautious about entering a new relationship. And my role as a person who, as a professional relationship coach, is to equip them with the skills to be in the right frame of mind, to get over the initial inhibitions and their personal limitations, and to really find the relationship that's best suited to their personality, to be with the person that will bring about the greatest fulfillment and joy, walking the journey of life with. And then there are people who are already in relationship who need the services of a relationship coach. They may have identified areas in their relationship that they need to grow in, areas such as conflict resolution in a relationship, communication, understanding each other's love language, and so on and so forth. So I come with those tools and empower people in relationship to grow in those areas, to truly enjoy a quality relationship. And then there are people who are looking to end a relationship. for some reason they may have gone back and forth and struggled to really formally and officially, in a very practical sense, terminate a relationship that may not be the best for them. So as a relationship coach, I come with the skills and the guidance, make all sort of analysis and present the facts and how a relationship can best be terminated, how a long or short relationship can come to an end and everybody walks away from this with the least amount of harm and trauma. And then there's the last group of people in my relationship coaching business that I see, and those are people who are struggling to come to terms with a relationship that has ended. So my relationship practice basically covers the entire lifespan of a relationship, from conception to inception to the process of the living, breathing relationship, right to the death and the end of a relationship, grieving a dead relationship. And that is what I do. That is what I've done as a relationship coach Matodzi Phosha relationship coach on these online platforms, Twitter and Instagram and Facebook. That is where I meet most of my clients.
Okay. This is powerful, man. And I wish that we could have just a discussion on this issue of relationship. And I will bring you back here again, because I think a lot of us need relationship coaching. Now, just as a parting shot, before we move into the subject of today, is there a difference between your typical counseling that is normally done, let's say premarital counseling? Is there a difference between that and what you are doing?
That's right. That's a very good question. Yes, generalized counseling and therapy is very different from relationship coaching. Generalized counseling considers underlying and historical facts, such as the family of a person, their family background, where they were born, how they grew up, and their past of trauma and health and all of those things. Whereas in relationship counseling, we focus on the present, where you are now and where you're trying to go. Relationship counseling doesn't at all touch a person's family background and where they are from and all of it. It doesn't dig that far deep. That's the fundamental, the main difference between generalized therapy and counseling and relationship coaching.
Okay, and I think that's important. I don't know if you can get more light coming into your side there. I can see you, but if you can do more with more light, if you can. Unless
with light. Okay, yeah, I can have. Let me try and open the blinds. To the just a
little bit. Okay, colleagues, thank you so much for joining. My IT expert is trying to get hold of me here, and I will decline for now because I'm already sorted. But our guest, Matodzi Phosha, met a pastor who transitioned from being a theologian to becoming a relationship coach, obviously carrying a lot of that training and skills and experience into what he now is doing. An intentional man, a man who seems to be planning, and not just planning, but carry out his plans with precision and success. I just want to acknowledge the colleagues that are here, the friends. Lindelani Kunene, good to see you so much. Luyanda Mnyandu, it's another runner, this one. It's another ultra marathon runner. Tando Melane, police, we can see. Uti, we can see and hear you clearly now. Thank you so much for that. Siya Bonga, Siya Komfo. Good to see you. Temkos Majikela. We thank you. We are Pindiabuya Umnyandu. Uti Umguni. Uti, wow, that's awesome. He's got his green number. We're going to come back to the green number story just now. But people are now online. Feel free to make your comments. Feel free to join us on this program so that you can ask your questions. Video Fanti sent his question already. And now we are talking about relationship coaching part of the business. And we're now going to move. I'll come back to you on that one, because I think a lot of us, those of us who have been married for years, will benefit from that service, Matt. Now, I want us to really transition to, how did you start? What made you think of running Comrades Marathon, man? And then you run the 90-kilometer run up and down. You know, what made you? What is that first spark? What happened?
Okay, so I have had a series of fortunate events in my life. And one of those catalyst moments in my running career began in February of 2004. I was going through a heartbreak, and you know, as comfort from my my circumstances, I accepted a nomination. I accepted a nomination to be in the SRC at Heidelberg, and the portfolio was to be editor of Indaba, which is the campus newspaper. And there were not many volunteer journalists. So typically I would do the stories and the research and the interviews myself, and sit down and type them, and and publish, and have the newspaper printed and circulated in various. But this one afternoon I walked into the office of.
So just before you move, man, sometimes my own coaching training comes through, and I see things and I hear things in what you're saying that I really want to put a spot, because there are young people who are watching this, young people that are going to watch this in 5-10 years time, and I want them to listen carefully to what you are saying. That not only did you go to Heidelberg to train for what you were going to train there for, but you developed other skills like writing, editing, newspapers, doing interviews. That's powerful, man. And I want people to realize that there's more that what is deposited than what we are actually doing at the time. Sorry, I disturbed you.
That's right. Well, I'd like to take credit for being a genius natural writer, but I had indicated in my earlier training before I came to Heidelberg, I trained in public relations and media studies. So I am a trained writer. I'm a trained media person. So those are the skills that, that help me navigate the world of newspapers and the likes, and put me in a good stead to be editor of Indaba. So one afternoon at Heidelberg, they had just introduced earlier that week the pastor who would be vice president for student affairs, and that happened to be none other than Dr. J. Papu. And I wanted the story to bring out his other side. We had all had his wonderful preaching. We all knew and admired his lovely family, and we had traveled around following preaching and doing these wonderful things. But I wanted to know Dr. Papu, the man, and I asked him, what is it that he does? What is it that he does to be himself? Of course, he's not reading the Bible and praying all the time. What is it that he does outside spiritual development? And he said he runs, and he had run Comrades. And the little that I knew about Comrades was that it's insane. It's an insane amount of physical pain that a person puts themselves through to run 90 kilometers in under 12 hours. But just as I was starting over that show, he told me, he pointed at me and he said, "You can run Comrades Marathon." He said, "In fact, you should run Comrades Marathon."
Wow.
The actual words in his challenge, I've had them echoed by other Comrades runners, Bo Kabelo Mabalane. He said his belief is that every South African should run Comrades Marathon at least once in their lifetime. As a South African, it is something you really ought to do, that complements and completes your citizenship in this beautiful country of ours, running through the Valley of 1,000 Hills in Natal in different directions, one year after the other. So that's what got me to think seriously about running Comrades. But I wouldn't do it for another 6 years. Things got in the way. But when I found myself in a small rural town in the Northern Cape as a pastor in my second year in ministry. There was very little else to do there besides just going out along those lonely, small, narrow farm roads and training. And, you know, your 3 kilometers become 13, and 13 becomes 21, and 21 becomes 42. And soon there is a qualifier marathon happening in another part of the province, and you drive there, and you get your race numbers and all of those things on your shirts, and you run a qualifier, and before you know it, it's the first Sunday of June. Well, in my case, because 2010 was the year of the Football World Cup, the race was not much earlier. It was in May. Yeah, I found myself standing at the start in Pietermaritzburg in the colors of the Kimberley Pirates, which is where I was staying and working at the time. I lived in the town of Kimberley. I registered with a club in Kimberley called Kimberley Pirates, and yeah, I was off to my first successful Comrades.
Wow, 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 wow. What an interesting story, and how this whole thing started. From the time that the sparks started to the time that you ran, it sort of was a period of something like 6 years. But finally, you put your words into action and you started doing this thing. And you're saying you used those moments in the rural settings where there was nothing to do to invest in your training and invest in your dream ultimately. And so just take us through that moment in May, that Sunday. I can't remember the date. Now you're standing there among all these thousands and thousands of people who are now going to run this great marathon that every South African must undertake in their life. Now you are there. It's not just a figment of imagination. What's going on in your mind? Do you feel confident? Were you scared? What was happening? Did you have people around you? Tell us, just take us through that so that we can understand what does it mean to run a Comrades marathon.
Thank you very much. For me, that moment was special in that I had come to a place emotionally where it was okay to learn by making a lot of mistakes. So I didn't truly feel that there was a lot at stake or anything could go wrong. I had told myself, this is only my first Comrades. If I finish it in under 12 hours, that's great. If I finish it in under 11 hours, even better. But I want to get a feel of the race so that I definitely come back. I wanted to finish with the feeling of wanting to come back the following year. So I think that's what really made it enjoyable. I had told myself, this is the race in which I will make the most mistakes. If I have to slow down during the race and make mental notes of what I'm seeing, what I'm hearing, what I'm feeling, this is what I'm bringing back into my race next year. So it was very important in that fact that I gave myself permission to fail, to struggle, to falter along the way. I had a very good running season. I think I'd done that year, just a month before that, I had done a very successful 2 Oceans. I think I ran a 4:30, 4:32 2 Oceans marathon, building up to Comrades. So I was feeling good physically, but I had to be kind to myself and allow myself to go into a place where it is okay to fail, it's okay to hurt, it's okay to crash, it's okay to not make it. And that's what drove me to Kingsmead that day.
Wow, wow. And so your first run was basically a down run, am I right?
Yes, my first run was a down run. We finished in Kingsmead. I could never forget that. Yeah.
Wow, 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 wow. I see other colleagues are here. Uvuyani Mfundisi, good to see you, Puwe. Nankomnye colleague webefundisi uSivu sorry, depending on Kota Kotela Umzangwa. So good to see him as well. I know that he used to run. I don't know about now. He used to run, this guy, Kotela. Nangumaleshwani Thabang, good to see you, sis. Bulelwa Ngwenya, so good to see you. It was great to see you in Cape Town recently. Nangu ulindelano uyabuya uthi every South African should run Comrades Marathon. Wow, I am challenged, but 90 kilometers. What do you say to someone who says that? 90 kilometers in one day. What do you say to such a person like Lindelani?
They say, right, running 5 kilometers may change your mind. Running 21 kilometers may change your perspective. And running a marathon will a marathon of 42.2 kilometers will perhaps slightly shift your worldview, but it is only running 90 kilometers that changes you at a cellular level. It changes you physically and spiritually as well. It changes your life in a very fundamental way. So you have to do that. But I have to give you some wisdom here, Mr. Kulati.
Please.
No one sets out to run 90 kilometers. Even on the day of Comrades, nobody sets out to run 90 kilometers. 90 kilometers may be made out of 3 segments of 30 kilometers, which I run every weekend. So if at the end of 30 kilometers I still feel like I can go on, then I say, oh, let's make another 30. Let's make another 30. And before you know it, it's 90 kilometers. I don't know if a lot of non-professional athletes who go out and tell themselves that. So the wisdom there is whatever endeavor you pursue, it is more manageable when you break down your goals into smaller, manageable goals. We say in running an ultra marathon is similar to eating an elephant. You don't swallow it whole. You cut it into smaller that can be mouthfuls. So you go to Comrades, you approach eating an elephant because it really is a monster.
Wow. And this is powerful, man, because, you know, I remember listening to a person who was talking about this great athlete. I think he was from Poland or something like that. In his mind, when he is running, he was running these, doing these ultra things. So in his mind, he only had the next 15 seconds every time, 15 seconds, you know, and I'm happy that you are saying that, so that we don't look at 90 kilometers, but we're looking at 30, 15, 10, and so on. But another thing which I think you are saying here is that we seem to think that there's people that are running there, simply woke up, put their shorts and started running. But you've been exercising, you've been qualifying, you've been doing all these other things in order for you to qualify and run this marathon. Am I right?
That's true. I didn't follow the earlier part of your question. Yes, there is a lot that that is part of the build up to the actual race, including running the qualifier marathon.
Yes. Okay. Now, I just want you talked about cellular level. You talked about just the spiritual aspects of it and all of that. We're going to come to that aspect of what happened. I think we just lost Matodzi for a short while there, and I think he's going to come back. Maybe his device just lost its connectivity, and let's just wait for him to come. In the meantime, let me just acknowledge Ndivuo Matamela. Good to see you. Sanda Zungu. Oh, Probam. Hey, are you still in Egypt? Or where are you, my brother? Nanku uyabuya ulindelani uthi well done, my brother Matodzi. And smaller manageable goals, Ubulelwa Ngwenya is saying that. Our guest is here. Don't worry about it. Since 2020, we have been thrust into this world of Wi-Fi connectivity, online this and online that, breakdowns and all of these things. But I think he is going to come back. He is going to come back soon. But if you have your questions in the meantime, please come with those questions, because I wanted to ask him about, because on the one side, there is this idea that every South African should run a Comrades marathon. Okay, you're back.
Yeah, we're back.
Yes, I was just saying, since 2020, we were thrust into a world of connectivity, and sometimes it just breaks down.
I hear you the whole time. It's just I don't get a visual. I don't see my picture. I don't see your picture. But the rest of the time, the audio was never disconnected. I had your voice the whole time.
No, that's wonderful. That's wonderful. So you heard what I was saying. So I was just picking up on this issue we're talking about at the cellular level. So from
That's
an
right.
eating, I can understand the running, the practicing, but what about eating? What about the other aspects of life like sleeping? Just tell us through those things. How does a person prepare for such a huge task at those other levels? Because I'm sure if you're going to have strong cells that multiply and all of that, you got to have something well to eat to prepare for that.
That's a very important question. So your diet becomes a very important aspect of preparing for an ultra marathon the size of Comrades, or even Two Oceans, the ultra marathon. What we're looking at in terms of our diet is you're looking at the type of foods or food groups which will speed up the process of muscle recovery.
Okay.
So yeah, what the importance of muscle recovery can never be overemphasized in training, because you look at a training program, it takes you from the beginning, as early as 10 months before the race. You are training.
Yeah.
You do what we call base training, fitness training, strength training to give you marathon fitness. You need to go to build a base of fitness, which can sustain your runs no matter how long or quick they are. You need to be running in the first month of the 10 at least 3 times a week. Okay. So
okay.
What makes you come back to training day after day is how well recovered your muscles are. Okay. So of course, to move from 3 days a week as the month change from 9 months to go to 8 months to go to 7 months to go, and you're moving from 3 days a week to 5 days a week to 6 days a week, and now 7 days a week. Although in the, we're talking about running every day of the week, one of those days you'll have to do in the gym. We're talking about, feeling good and very, very little pain on your muscles on the day after a hard run. So that takes some. You need to feed your body foods that help your muscles recover, and there are many foods like that. I cannot push one over there, but you're really looking at your foods that are rich in proteins. You're looking at balancing your carbs with your proteins, but you eat to recover. That's all that an athlete does preparing for Comrades. You eat to recover. You eat so that when you wake up tomorrow morning and you put on your running shoes, you're not in so much pain. You say, no, I'm not doing this. Let me skip today. I'll run again on Friday.
Okay. Wow. I mean, that's a tweetable moment right there. You eat to recover. You eat to recover. If I was... That's a tweetable moment right there. And I think if someone had a Twitter, I would say, please acknowledge Matodzi for that, because it's his original thought. I've never heard of it before. You eat to recover. And I think this is important for those of us who are at various levels of difficulty when it comes to exercising, just living a healthy lifestyle. But what is very clear to me is that when Matodzi, there is a science behind this. There's things that you need to do. You mustn't just take things for granted. You need to understand. You need to do a bit of research about the food types, food categories, and so on. And I want to ask this question that Fani, a good friend of mine, Sifularo, he has also been here. Great man, executive or CEO of South African Petroleum Industry Association. Hey, Fani, good to see you, man. Uyabuzu Fani, Uti, what was your time this past marathon? And as you answer that question, please, can you differentiate between a marathon and an ultra marathon? Matodzi, can you hear me?
I hear you.
Yes. You go ahead.
The reason we call a marathon is because there is a Greek legend associated with this. The legend goes that in the hundreds BC, a certain messenger came from the region of Marathon outside Athens in ancient Greece to deliver news of a victory at war. You hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, so a messenger ran a distance which is approximately 42.2 kilometers from Marathon to Athens. Marathon is actually the name of an area where a battle was fought. He came to deliver the news that we won the war. The war that had been going on for months is now over. And the distance was approximately, as I said, 42.2 kilometers. Now, the legend continues to say, after he delivered such good news, from exhaustion and he fell down and he died. And to commemorate his great act and bravery of delivering the good news of freedom and liberty and the end of war, the Athenians would run the same distance and call it the marathon or a foot race. A marathon is literally a foot race.
Okay.
42.2. So a distance of 43 kilometers is no longer a marathon. It's an ultra marathon. And if I went out with you and 10 kilometers, we're not running a 10-kilometer marathon. It's sort of like it's a contradiction in terms. Marathons is specifically connected to 42.2. So 10 is not a marathon. 12 is not a marathon. 21.1 is a half marathon because it is precisely half of 42.2 kilometers. And anything above 43 is an ultra marathon.
So, wow. And we're learning today. We're learning.
Yeah. I must say I've bent my fingers a lot trying to get this point across. I have confirmed. I've responded to friends, posting nice pictures on Facebook and on Instagram saying, we are at the marathon in Soweto. We are running a marathon, 10 kilometers. Here we go. And I said, but it's not a marathon if you're not running 42.2 kilometers. It's in terms.
I was thinking that my 21 marathon.
So this past Sunday would be my best Comrades time. I ran 8 hours, 13 minutes, and 50 seconds, which is my PB.
How many hours?
8 hours and 13 minutes.
Wow. Okay. Wow.
That will be, yes, that's my Comrades personal best. I have run 8:30 before. I've run 8:45. In total, I have the Bill Rowan medal, the medal between 7:30 and 9 hours. I've done this time 7 times. So I have 7 Bill Rowan medals, and I've fallen outside of 9 hours 3 times and earned the bronze medal. So my 10 races for the green number have 7 Bill Rowans and 3 bronzes.
Sure. So we're talking here with a veteran, a guy who knows what he's talking about, not just from running and the experience, but also just from the science and the preparation behind it. Indeed, Fanny, you're right. Fanny saying it's impressive time. Fanny, I know that he's a great biker. And I can see here, Nanku Usanda Zungu Uti, what's the next big thing, man? Another Comrades, why do you think this extreme sport? There are so many things now. In fact, in preparation for this discussion, I watched a YouTube video of this blind man, an American blind man. I think he has a Dutch name. I can't say his name. He is into these extreme sports, blind. They put something in his eyes and all of that. So for you, what is the next big thing when it comes to these marathons? Now, Myandu saying, wow, you secured your BR medal. You are fast. What is the BR medal? Please educate us.
By BR is referring to Bill Rowan. Bill Rowan is the name of the first winner of the original Comrades Marathon run by Vic Clapham and 34 others. The inaugural Comrades was won by a man named Bill Rowan. He finished in 8 hours 59 minutes. So wow. That's the story of Bill Rowan. And what's next for me, Sanda Zungu, is a year or two ago, I watched at the end of Cape Town City Marathon a legend named Hendrik Ramala, and I envied the smile on his face after winning his age category. He's a veteran now. He's no longer racing with the younger men. And part of his speech was because there's something common in all runners. We're very competitive people. He talked about how he had completely dominated his age category. He said in his Setswana, which literally means among my age mates, I completely killed everyone. So I want to see myself dominating my age category. Now that I'm retired from Comrades, I'm going back to the marathon distance. My personal best currently stands at 3:08 from Amsterdam of a few years ago. I ran a 3:08 marathon, but I've never quite dipped under that magical 3 hours. So everything aside from Comrades, which I believe has contributed to me slowing down over the years, Comrades has that effect. When you learn to wait and run endurance, you compromise your speed. You become a slower and slower runner over the years. So I've left Comrades now. I'm going back to the marathon, and I'm gonna try in the next 4 years. In the next 4 years to run a sub 3 hour marathon. It may be here, it may be abroad. That's what I'm doing. Also, I'm interested. The Olympics organization has opened up the Olympics marathon of the Olympics in Paris in 2024 to the general public. It's not just people who will be representing their nations and their people who have qualified from the different countries who will be running the Olympic marathon. Everyone is free to register and run with the Olympians. We don't know who it will be, representing South Africa, representing Kenya, but we will be on the same road, same track, same route outside of Paris in 2024 running. So I'm very much excited about that. And who knows, that may be where I break my 3 hour hoodoo.
Wow. As you are running that marathon in 2024, look for me, because you might just see me among the top there. All right.
That's the competitive spirit I'm talking about.
Yes, that's the spirit, my brother. I think we really are having a great conversation here, because, and I do want us to go back to the symbolism. Just now, to the symbolism, you talked about the word spirituality, and I'd like to use also the word symbolism of running a marathon for life lessons, because you see, and I think it was Bulelwa who wrote the statement where you said smaller manageable goals. That can be said by a manager or an expert who's trying to become a manager or leader. So in other words, there are business, they are spiritual, there are symbolic lessons that maybe you can come up with. But before we get there, I just want to finish off the part of actually participating in the marathon. I watched a YouTube clip of a woman who was running this past marathon. I can't remember her name. And as she was running into the field, her legs gave in and she couldn't stand, and she grabbed on the walls, and I think someone just touched her, and then she stood up. And I could see that she had glasses on that were on top like this. She kept putting them on and putting them down, and there was no logical reason for that. And I thought that sometimes I do things, let's say I'm in a meeting and I feel like I'm falling asleep or this thing is dragging on. I sometimes do things just to keep myself awake. Are there trinkets like that people that are running marathons or ultra marathons, when they get to difficult moments where you need to distract your mind from feeling that you are now falling down? Are there things like that? Can you share with us what happens to you when you get to those moments? How do you trick your mind to be able to overcome this big mountain before you?
Very good observation that you made, and most runners will attest to this. There's a lot of self-talk. There's a lot of small things that we do to shift attention away from the pain, because the truth is running will hurt. Running is a very painful exercise. You don't train so that it does not hurt. You train that when it hurts, you are familiar with the hurt. So it's nothing new. You're not feeling a shock wave going through another part of your body. So you train to familiarize yourself with the pain and where it comes from and how it comes and goes. So sometimes, during this, intense pain, you want to shift your mind elsewhere to something else. It may be some part of your body. It may be a little badge, a little logo on your vest that you look to and touch. There are many different things that people do to not focus so much on the and a lot of runners do that. There's a lot of self-talk. I remember my last bit of self-talk getting into 5 kilometers to go into Moses Mabhida. There's a bit of an on-ramp, and I was feeling tired. My body was in pain at the time, and my self-talk was basically, Matodzi, come on, you can't negotiate with an on-ramp. This is an on-ramp. Are you really going to debate walking? Naturally, my friend, an on-ramp should not be too steep. Otherwise, new drivers will have their cars rolling back. So I could see it's an on-ramp. I could see it really cannot be steep. One thing I learned running and training with Dr. Papu was what he told us around mountains, running around Table Mountain, running 2 oceans, is you have to remember that when the engineers make the road on a mountain, they look to put the road surface on the least steep side of the mountain. So the road is really the flattest and easiest part of any mountain. So you tell yourself that, feeling pain, it could be tough. I'm running on a road, I could be running on stones, or I could be running directly uphill almost in a vertical pattern. But I'm running on a road, which means this cannot be the most difficult part of the mountain. The most difficult part of the mountain is vertical. And you will do those things, you tell watch, you look here and there for just to shift attention away from what you're feeling physically. Because I will tell you the truth, it is intensely. You've done a lot of training, you've done a lot of preparing, but it still hurts at the end of the day. It hurts a lot.
Yeah. And I'm glad that you were detailed about that, because I think it can be applicable in all areas of life. In fact, I was writing a book. When I was writing the book, I would get to a moment in the middle of the night or in the early hours of the morning where I suddenly have this block. I can't continue. And you need to find ways to actually just inspire your mind and to make sure that things work by going deep into your mind, by thinking about something. And I really want to thank you that. Now, just before we move forward to those spiritual and business lessons and so on, at the beginning, I wanted us to start off by just acknowledging the tragedy that happened in this past Comrades Marathon, especially for the Adventist Athletic Club, where we lost a brother there, and I think he's being buried today. Unfortunately, because of the connectivity problems, we couldn't do that, and we want to pass our condolences to the family of that. So what words would you say, obviously no one knows what would have led to that. What words would you say to people who feel like, hey, I'm getting sick, or I have a bit of flu, or whatever the case may be, what I'm running? What words would you say to such people without necessarily, I just want to make this very clear to everyone. We're not necessarily directly talking to the guys that passed away, sadly. We are just talking about, yes, the things that lead people to die.
Yeah, we do have general guidelines with specific issues such as a flu. We will say if the flu symptoms are above the neck, you are good to go. You may have a little a little congestion of the nostrils and all of those things, you're good to go. But if you're feeling flu symptoms below the neck, that means your lungs, your shoulders, your chest, your muscles, all over your body, you're feeling all of those flu symptoms, it's safe not to run at all. So most people before a race like Comrades will go and see a physician and really get a clean bill of health, get their doctor to certify them good and fit to run a race. So that's those are some of the guidelines that we are given. And there are also things that that pop up on the day, on the many runners we have seen even on TV pulling out of of Comrades at 38 because they felt, you know, you in these areas, your heart rate is your guide. You know, you have a device you're wearing on your hand. You may have a strap around your chest telling you your heart has been beating consistently at over 165 beats per minute. That's abnormal. That's above your range. It should come down to a resting heart rate. You should take when you take a walk. If you take a 2 minutes walk, the heart rate should come down. And when it doesn't, your body is telling you you're not in a good form or shape to continue with the rest of the race. So we do have those things. And I'll tell you, runners are really tough people. There are people who have gone against doctors and physicians' orders and run when they were told not to run. There are people who have, ignored symptoms like I've seen us running in the rain. I've run in adverse weather, and we had to be told, look, we will only stop running if the lightning is like 5 seconds apart. But if the lightning is coming 5 minutes apart, keep going, guys. We are soldiers.
Wow. Oh man, this is powerful stuff here. But I think those of us who are thinking about running, we need to take also our health conditions, just find mechanisms to understand these trinkets that are being put up so that we can know what this is about. I realized, a friend of mine, Uspiwe Khaula, went there, and I think he took a picture with you, with Umnyandu, and someone else, if I can't remember well, but he showed a picture, and I saw that one of the pictures were taken in the early hours of the morning. How do you guys cope with the night before the marathon? Because it might be difficult to sleep, especially when you are anticipating, or do you have ways by which you just shut your mind to fall asleep? How does that happen?
I doubt in the history of the race anybody has ever slept a good solid 8 hours before the race. So what we do, we anticipate, of course, the fact that we're not going to sleep much, and you take cautions. You adjust your movement around that. If I'm not going to sleep Saturday night before Comrades, I make sure that for the whole of the Saturday afternoon, I'm at the same place where I'll sleep. I'm not looking around for accommodation or going to see people or going to do this and that. So I make sure that I'm rested, I'm off my feet, I'm not walking about a lot. And you will see that with the same strategy, the week building up to Comrades, I do what I call banking sleep, knowing that I'm anticipating a Saturday night in which I will sleep from Monday, as early as Monday night. I'll sleep early at 7. I'll put my phone on disturb. I put it face down. And yeah, I sleep. I don't have to wake up at 4 the next morning because most of the training is done. I can run an hour on the treadmill on Tuesday mornings. Do the same thing, bank 2 more hours get an hour here and there the whole week. So you're not really too worried about the fact that on Saturday night, the night before the Lord was crucified, he was staring at the ceiling. The hour of his suffering had come. So most of Saturday night is really spent trying to lie down in one position, not turning and tossing, and just looking up. And if you're lucky to have company or a team, have people bring the things that you need. You may need a sip of water. You may need, there's a tea that you took during training when you were struggling to sleep that calms you down. Have those things brought to you instead of walking to them or making them or preparing them yourself. So it's about resting, as much rest as possible. It's a very interesting night, Comrades night, because at midnight most of the hotels in Durban are open and serving breakfast. I mean, where else in the world can you have breakfast at 12 midnight?
They are making money. They are making money. All right.
You've been lying in bed from 8 p.m. until 12. You get up at 12. Some shower, some don't. I sensed a whiff on Sunday morning. Somebody had been wearing the same clothes they ran in the previous day. Because, different strokes for different folks, right? But yeah, we have different rituals. Some of us will shower and do the prepping. You eat your breakfast. you get on the bus or you get on the lift to the start. If you're camping in Durban and the race is starting in Maritzburg and so on and so. So yeah, I got to like that. That became a huge part of my life. The past 11 to 13 years. Of course, we count the 2 years that that we could not run, unfortunately, due to COVID. Yeah, but sleep is important. Make sure you bank sleep. Make sure you put sleep hours into your savings account of sleep.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, man. And I really appreciate that. We've run out of time a little bit, but and I want us to zoom towards the end. But before we do that, let me just acknowledge those people that are here that I didn't mention, because I don't want people. I'm not taking for granted the fact that people take their time to watch these programs. These programs are intended to inspire us, to inform us, to transform us, to help us become better people. How can we do that? It is only when we learn from other people. It is only when we are exposed to other forms of thinking that we may not maybe have had, or the thoughts that could confirm ours. I can see Nolthando Nana Sompeta. Good to see you, sis. Amanda, Amish, how are you? Good to see you. Ulav Tintin, good to see you, Tin. Karabo Masheku, good to see you, Sisi. Utuluyanda Mnyandu Umguni. Ikamal, the name of this brother, his name is Pakamil Njiza, the brother who sadly passed away close to halfway. He'll be buried, not today, sorry, I made a mistake, but next week. I spoke to Viwe. I think she's part of the team of the club executive here, and they were busy trying to support the family. The funeral will going to be in Uitenhage or Tinaga Uitenhage on the 7th of September. I think that's going to be Wednesday. There'll be also a memorial service, which will also be virtual. Sitting there, our hearts are with you today. Lindelani Kunene is saying condolences to the family. Other people I may have missed from mentioning here. I'm going to try and look them on this other device. As we're going towards the end, man. Just
yes,
I hear a lot about the buses, not necessarily the physical buses, the buses that people run under. You can see that there are guys who are actually doing some driving there. Just tell us about that. How does that work? How do you know which bus to go into when you're running in the marathon?
Yeah, so these marathon organizers and their associations have, over the years, identified and talented runners who run consistent times. So you may find that this man has always come in at under 4 hours at Two Oceans. So he will be appointed the official sub 4 hour Two Oceans driver by the association. So at Comrades, you will have your silver bus, a very fast bus that aims on the day, no matter what happens, to get to the finish in less than 7.5 hours. You have then the 9-hour bus, the Bill Rowan bus. It will be massive. There will be a driver there. And as you get closer to 12 hours, the buses get larger, because then you have, people who have an aim of finishing, and the greater chance that more than 50% of you hear this on the commentary, well over 65% of the finishers come in between 9:30 and 11:59 when the cutoff happens. And in all of these sections, from 9 to 10, 11, and sub 12, these crowds, these runners are led by bus drivers. And of course, because of the nature of the sport, you will have someone halfway through the run decide to make another bus, then 8-hour bus, and there will be the unofficial buses. People just naturally gravitate around this runner. They communicate their targets. We are all running the same pace. Let's try and get to the finish in 8 hours. Let's try and get to the finish in 8 hours, 30 minutes. So you will have those unofficial buses just clustering and coming together to really eat this mountain together, to eat the elephant together.
Yes. And yeah, man, that's beautiful. And I see these guys; they are motivational, they are inspiring. You can see that they are talking to their teams. It's really amazing. Just from a leadership
It's
point of view, you
yeah.
can you learn a lot from that. Now, Uti Apa Usanda, wonderful guest. I think, man, you are truly amazing. You Unyansile, you are a wonderful guest, truly amazing, so inspired. Thanks, Prapet. It gives me goosebumps to listen to a man who brings his A game in the office. Uti, listen carefully. Uti, I smell a book. Thanks, Papet. Wonderful interaction. All right. Fezeka Kangule is coming on board as well. Good to see you, Sisi. Man, now let's come to what this guy is talking about here, Usanda, because I think he's onto something there. But there's something about you, man, which I picked up. You know, there's a theory which is called an intentional change theory by this professor called Bonyansits. He's an American of Greek origin, and I see
right.
that coming out in you so much. You have this intentionality about you. You plan things, you get them done, and I think, many of us who are, from ordinary people to just leaders, anyone can learn a lot from you. Share with us any lessons that you think you can grab from this marathon winning symbolism for business, for life, for general, anything that you think, man, stand out for you. I know when I do my walks or things like that, a lot of the stuff that I write on my Facebook page and so on come to me when I'm either praying or meditating or walking or running. So for you, can you juice for us some of the stuff that you have learned that are spiritual in nature, stuff that you are thinking you're taking from this experience of running Comrades Marathon for all these years that you can apply or you're applying already to your life?
Okay. I think I've mentioned three that come top of my mind. And the first one is my personal life mantra. My personal motto is do nothing without intention. Do nothing without intention.
A tweetable moment right there.
The why of why you do things, the why of the things that you do. The how will come later. But first find the why. And the why speaks to the issue of do nothing without intention. And I have shared my thoughts on running. My philosophy on running is that running is the best and the most accurate, the closest metaphor for spiritual life or spiritual development. If you look at all the lessons that you need to learn in spiritual growth, they are, the metaphor for them is found everywhere in every aspect of running. When we talk about don't look back, or that is basically what spirituality teaches. When you run the race of faith, there is no time to
look back
over your past achievement. Running basically says achieve the greatest achievement and instantly forget about it. Forget about it like you never. So it reduces pride. It brings humility to know that even at your highest, you are still a sinner. And when they asked me initially why I ran, I told them, someone told me that Jesus Christ is coming. And when Jesus Christ comes, people will run. Others will run towards him. Others will run to the mountain saying, mountain, fall on us. And my running is basically a testimony of my belief in the second coming of Jesus, to say, I'm running. It doesn't matter whether I'll run away from him or I'll run to him. One day, all of us will run. So let's get running. Let's start running. Let's get training. Let's get practice on the running which will happen, the pandemonium of people running when Christ shall appear.
That's beautiful, man. That's powerful right there. And it's really amazing. I wish we could just carry on chatting, but these lessons you just said, never do anything. What did you say there? Do nothing without intention. Do nothing without intention. And a lot of us live our lives to the chance of the day. We wake up without intention, without knowing what we're going to be doing. It's something that I'm actually studying right now, this intentional change theory, because I think it's something that is the cause for the success of many of the people that we see succeeding out there.
Everything done with intention succeeds.
These are powerful. Ulindelani Kunene Uti, as we kept running to meet my brother from one stop to another, it reminded me how much we should run, look, search to for Christ in our lives. That's another spiritual lesson that Lindelani is picking up here. I guess he's also a runner. Uti, very inspiring. Utumnyandu, very inspiring indeed. Gajeni, thank you so much for your guest. It reminded me how much, what he shared today transcends running to other aspects of our lives. I under Simihle, running a race. Thank you so much, Sisi. Good to see you here joining us today. Matodzi, man, I really want to thank you for this time. As I say, I've learned a lot from you. You're a humble but a powerful man, a man who exudes that. You carry yourself with such dignity, man. And I think a lot of us need people like you close to us. And that's why I want you to commit yourself to be available for our next conversation on relationship coaching. Can you do so publicly here?
I want to assure you, I'm more than available to be on this platform and to share with your viewers and your followers, your online community, whatsoever skills and knowledge I may have in the area of relationship coaching. I would very much love to avail myself for our next conversation, and I look forward to it, sir.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. And in the meantime, I know that there's a friend of mine who reached out and asked for your contact details, and you graciously agreed that I should give it to him. But if people wanted to talk to you now, before we get to that point, about your services that you provide from a relationship coaching point of view, or even the Maisha people's services, how can people get hold of you?
Okay, so I am Matodzi Phosha Relationship Coach on Twitter. If you just search those names, my name pops up. Matodzi Phosha Relationship Coach on Twitter and Facebook. And my business numbers is 060-712-7681. You can reach me there for my relationship coaching services. Maisha People is basically a boutique marketing consultancy. I specialize in this area of marketing strategy for corporates, for small to medium businesses, also the marketing of events. But yeah, my current work right now is with the relationship coaching business, and on a 9 to 5 Monday to Friday, I am involved in marketing as a consultant.
Okay, all right. This is really great. I've really enjoyed this conversation. I just want to apologize for the initial glitches that took place at the beginning of this. I just want to indicate that next time we will have that corrected ahead of time. But as we say, you can only do so much to prepare for any of these things. As we conclude, I'd like to indicate to colleagues that this book is available to anyone who wants it, and it's called A Gap in the Cloud. You can get this book from me. You can just go to my Facebook page, get it to my social media. This book, I think if I had waited a little bit to write it, I would have benefited from this conversation today, and I would have added a bit more punchy stuff onto it. But I do encourage everyone to please buy it, and I want to appreciate the support of people that continue to want this book. I just got another consignment of printing done last week. This week I'm going to be in Mamelodi SDA, Mamelodi Central SDA. Anyone who wants to do that can holler. Matodzi, any last minute conversation from last messages from you before we call it a day?
I'd like to say thank you to all the supporters and well-wishers. Everybody who's contributed to my growth and my development as a person. I shared a Facebook post. I'm Matodzi Phosha on Facebook. You can go see most of my writings there, my musings there. But one thing I've learned about that running has taught me is it's not an individual sport. It takes so many pieces, so many elements, and you see it coming together on the day, how from the person who hands you the first sachet of water on the road to the person that stitched the race number on your vest, 3-4 months when you were preparing for the race. Everybody, it takes, just in the way that we say it takes a village to raise a child, it takes a community of running and fitness enthusiasts to get one person to cross Comrades. And I'm truly indebted to everybody who has come into my path preparing for Comrades the past 10 times that I have run Comrades. I'm grateful to their support. I'm grateful to the people that running has brought into my life. I'm grateful to my family. I'm grateful to the friends who became family. I'm truly grateful for all that you have done for this village boy from Manamani in Venda. I'm truly, truly grateful.
Oh, thank you so much, man. We really appreciate that. I see that Babalam Kolombane is also here. I may have missed many of you. I know that there are so many of you who love this platform, who join us. And by the way, everyone is welcome here to this platform to share, to share wisdom, as we have heard today. And talking about that, by the way, for those of you who want, I'm coming to Cape Town tomorrow, and I'll be there until Tuesday evening. Reach out to me if you want to chat about the book or any of the things that we normally do. But Matodzi is his time today. It's about him. Anyone who wants to work with him on relationship coaching, on any of the things that he does talk about, please feel free to reach out to him. He has given us the ways in which we can get in touch with him. But I think if you type Matodzi Phosha on the search engines, I'm sure his name is going to pop up on Twitter, Facebook, and all of that. Man, I want to say thank you to you again for spending this time with us, both to you and those of us who are watching today. I really appreciate this time. I'll be reaching out to you on other things, but thank you so much. Please enjoy the rest of your afternoon.
Thank you so much, sir. You're very kind, and thank you to the followers and the viewers. We truly, truly thank you for spending this time with us.
Thank you. I see that Ufani Uchifularo has actually written here something in Venda. The only thing I can say is that place that says Vo Phosha. So I think you can read that much better than I can do, man. And now that I'm here in Gauteng, I'm planning to learn a lot of our languages so that I can stop butchering people's names and surnames. South Africa is a great country. We have multiple numbers of people, and we have to acknowledge and accommodate one another so that we can all grow. The most important thing, colleagues and everybody, is for us to become better people. And for that, I want to thank Matodzi for helping us along that journey. Please enjoy the rest of your evening, and goodbye. Take care, man. All right. If I have missed you somehow in terms of acknowledging your name, please forgive me. I will look up again, because I find that when I go and look at these afterwards, I see that there have been more people watching and making comments, but I don't get them in real time. And but I want to thank you for your comments, for your participation. Please share this video, like it, subscribe to our video YouTube channel at Moments of Insight and Growth. Make sure that you are a subscriber who will get notifications every time we put something there. But if you feel like you've got something that other people can learn from you, something that you've contributed, you may be a sporting person, whatever it is that can add value to other people, reach out to me, and then we can chat about it. Okay, thank you so much. Uluyanda Mnyandu uthi he is thanking Pastor Phosha. As if you know, but thank you so much, colleagues. Enjoy the rest of your afternoon. We'll see each other again next week. Next week at 2 o'clock. You'll be surprised and excited about the person we're going to be having. We're going to be talking to Zolani Smai. Zolani Smai is going to be talking to us about the issues of employment and immigration. Please make sure that you come with questions, you come to learn so that we can understand about some of the things that are happening in our country. We wanted just to talk about that. We're going to move back to the normal subjects that we normally talk about, things about leadership growth, personal growth, development, spiritual growth, family life, men's issues, empowerment, and all of that. But next week, we're going to be talking about this nexus between immigration and employment and what can be done to make sure that our country moves forward with peace and tranquility. Thank you, guys. God bless.